Well, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. And how are you?
I'm done with this rain.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I don't think there's a forecast of rain
Not for a
today.
while. Yeah.
Although watching the weather because yeah, it's going to affect me on Friday. There's a big old storm going across the nation, kind of in the path of the freeway I'll be driving.
Going to Colorado.
Going to Colorado
24-hour trip.
on my
Where you guys
broomstick.
go in Colorado? Denver?
Denver. Yeah.
That's a long drive.
It is a long. It's 17 and a half hours.
Yeah.
17 if you fly under the radar.
That means if you go over the speed limit.
A lot.
I hear that you can fly there.
You can fly there. However, due to this crazy ass economy in our current conditions, the last we looked, tickets were $8.50 a piece.
Wow.
For a round trip flying out of San Fran. Didn't matter what airport we flew out of, tried to fly out of. And then, of course, a rental car, if you have your car there, you don't have to have a rental car. A rental car for 2 weeks, $1,300.
Wow.
That's before Christmas presents or food.
You know what they did in Hawaii when they were having trouble with the rental cars, right? They rent U-Hauls.
Yep, exactly. And, people were doing that here, too. I think they learned from Hawaii. They were renting U-Haul, and they were like $29 for the day.
Right.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. I'm going to drive a truck. Says U-Haul on it. Anyway,
Let's get going.
So we had great weather over the weekend. I was at my cabin talking about a lot of snow and rain and snow and rain and snow and rain. So I'm just glad it rained. So it took a lot of it down, except for it snowed a lot on Saturday night. And then all of a sudden from 11 to 12, it rained. And then next thing you know, in the morning, everything's iced up.
Yep.
Right. And the roads were so bad. It's like, they came and cleaned them, but then we were leaving and one section wasn't really cleaned well. And I'm going through it and Marshall's like, you took it out of 4-wheel drive. That's your problem. It's like, okay, I went from 4 low to 4 high. I know what I'm doing. Just, you know.
Did you fishtail a little bit?
Just
a lot. Squirrely?
A lot. Because I have big tires. And the problem is with snow, you're better off with skinny tires than you are with big tires. Because big tires grab so much.
Oh, so much of the ice.
Yeah. And you can, so you're better off to gut through. And that's why I say a lot of smaller cars do okay. But I mean, we were pretty high. I mean, there was a lot of snow. Let's just put it that way. And it was just a little bit. I'm like, we'll be fine. We'll get out of here. We got out of there. So,
yeah, but freaks are out for
everybody.
A moment.
Well, because they don't know what's going on because I know what's going on.
Well, you're the one in charge.
That's right.
You're Charles in charge.
Oh, God. Can we date ourselves?
I just did.
All right. So this week, we're waiting on
2 things.
About 3 things, actually.
I want to say 2.
Okay. Well, today there's going to be a bond auction for the 10-year. This afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern to see how the 10-year does. And that's going to tell us how, if it does real well, everybody's like, oh, great. This is great information. If it does horribly, that's not good.
Right.
The other thing is tomorrow is the CPI report coming out, and that's the year-over-year number they're looking at. I'm looking at this like when you're trying to lose weight, you lose weight, and then you gain a little bit back.
Yeah.
Well, that's how things work.
Right.
And then you lose the next week. Well, I'm having like the last report that came in last week came in a little bit higher at 10th. People were freaking out for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect this to go straight down. Right. No. I expect it to go down, up a little bit, down, up a little bit, and keep going. So I'm okay if we have a little bump up, because then I know when they come out in January, it's really going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, and nothing ever goes straight down except for things falling out of a plane
or satellites. Somewhat funny. No, but they come at an angle.
Yeah.
That's that. And then the Fed's going to come out this week and see whether they're going to raise or short or whatever they're going to do after their meeting. If they're going to short term, if they're going to do half. So if the CPI report comes in really well, like we want it, we're showing inflation, they might do a quarter.
Okay.
They might not do as much. I don't think that is my care. I don't care about what the Fed's doing, because as we always say, they do not control mortguage rates.
Right. They don't.
They control short-term rates. That's a car loan, so credit card debt, all that stuff.
Yeah, revolving.
Right. But so we could still see interest rates go down.
Right.
Even if they raise, because that has nothing to do with the other.
Right.
It's all about what's going on with inflation. That's where we're at.
A left hand.
Yeah.
And then there's a right hand. And they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well,
they don't affect each other.
Yeah.
So
that's where the market is when it comes to rates and what you should do. I tell everybody right now, I'm been saying float. I have a few that aren't closing for a while. It's like I haven't seen 60-day escrows forever, but they just do that in some places, right?
Right, to see if they can ride out because they're predicting that they're going to be a little lower interest rate. They can lock a little bit later. That's a scary thing to do sometimes.
Yes, and no, this is more because snow's coming.
Yeah. Winter
so
is
for them to do inspections, it's like, get your ass out there now.
Yeah,
they're in between the storm, get out there.
right.
Yeah.
So you're expecting maybe Wednesday, Thursday.
Well,
we're going to have some fairly interesting news.
Yeah, well, definitely by Wednesday we'll have some definitely good news.
Yeah,
good or bad news, one of those two.
Yeah,
we'll have news.
Yeah. Hippy dippy weatherman. I loved him.
Yeah.
Going to have some darkness later tonight.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't put on my sweater when I walked in and my slippers.
Oh, that's Mr. Rogers. I don't have a sweater on. It's a hoodie.
All right. So what's going on in the real estate side?
Going on in the real estate market is I had some clients that wanted to see some property this Saturday. Guess what? We didn't do. We didn't
you didn't get a boat and go walk.
We thought about it. We were going to rent something from U-Haul, but they were all taken. So we canceled. We're going to look at some stuff this week. I think, my office had a little Christmas party Friday night. It was just heavy hors d'oeuvres and buy your own cocktails. But a lot of conversation. You're in a room with a lot of realtors, so there's a lot of conversation. You're able to talk to people in Manteca, realtors in Manteca, Tracy, Ripon, Oakdale, and you get kind of a better beat on what's going on in the market because of what they're doing. And they all seem to be pretty busy, which is nice to see, especially through December. Like we've always said, December is one of the busiest times of the year for real estate and for purchasing a home. In fact, we just had December 7th, which was the second best day. And then we've got a bunch of others coming up too.
Well, what's the best day of the year?
26th.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because you get that, what's that after Christmas Friday?
After Christmas sale. Yeah. Get all this crap off my shelves. That's and please buy my house.
But you're right, because I talked to a couple people and they were saying how they're a person where they were a wholesaler and they said that they're hearing people more upbeat about what's going on in the economy, and because we're on that tipping point going down the other way to where rates are going to go down and it's a better time. But I also talked to somebody who said that all their friends that used to be in your industry are now doing other things.
Well, there are those.
Which is okay. We had too many people on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. And another indicator is when you talk to, because just about everybody uses a mobile signing service anymore. Escrow officers are too busy to take that time out of the day to be able to sign the client. So a mobile signer does it. And when they're getting busy again, I mean, you hear about it when they're not, but when they're getting busy again, it's a great indicator that everybody's is selling homes because they're signing more escrows. Right. So that's cool.
Well, things are closing. It's just not going to, we just don't have enough houses on the market because people are in the really low interest rates.
Right.
And I keep hearing what we say in other places. And I heard that over the weekend listening, and they were talking, well, people just are not in a hurry to sell or do anything. And so you can't really go, this is a bad market when you don't have any houses to sell.
Yeah.
And right now people are trying to take advantage of sellers. And especially if a seller is selling their house, they want top dollar, and then they want to screw over the other person on the other side. I just don't get it.
Well, that's last year's seller because they had 42 offers in the background. We don't have 42 offers in the background, and you're lucky if you get one or two, and you can only sell it to one. The interesting thing is, don't be stuck in the past. Don't look at. Here's what realtors are saying right now. So when you talk about value, we're paying more attention to what's active on the market right now than what previously sold.
Right.
And in the past, in 21, we would look at what previously sold, and that would give you a gauge of where you should start. You should always start under market, and give you a gauge of where you think the buying market will push the value to. And that's why we were seeing anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 to $100,000 over list price. There was nothing on the market. People wanted the house, especially if it was clean, and they wanted to be the winner. Now, in lower price ranges, if you start at the correct price, you're still going to get an overbid. But if you start too high, and then you get, let's say you're lucky enough to get one or two offers, and you continue to stay too high, don't listen to your realtor, stay too high, and both buyers go away, that's a sheer indication. A sure, I don't know about sheer. I do like
Sure is better.
I like sheer things though.
Yeah.
A sure
So
indication
did you
that
do sheep before or something?
I did.
Okay.
I did in my ute. That the market is no longer where you thought it was.
Right.
So,
well, that's what they say. The sellers are in last year's market, and the buyers in the market
this year's market,
or the market to come.
Yeah. But you know what we've been saying, and I have a feeling we're going to be correct. I think end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter next year, we're going to see a similar market to 2021 because all those buyers are going to be coming back into the buying market, and we still don't. We're not getting more homes to list.
No. The only way we're going to get more homes to list is have more sellers move out of the state. And that's what I explained the last time. I said everybody was like, you guys lost so many people out of California. It's like, it was the only way to sell houses.
Right.
I had buyers who wanted to buy a home, but if you didn't have people leaving, there was no houses to buy.
Yeah. And I read an article yesterday, mid-morning, talking about how businesses are still vacating California. Big businesses are still leaving California
because this is not going to be political, but it's our idiot governor.
Yep.
And I mean this all with all due respect, but it's when you tax the most of everything and everything costs the most, why wouldn't you move your business out? If I could move my business out and still be here, I would do that.
Here's the thing: when you tax the most and then don't provide services, you don't do what you say you're going to be doing with those tax dollars. That gets frustrating. And, I've listened to him speak, and he says, oh, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, we've done that. It's all political feel-good stuff, but it's really not the nuts and bolts of what needs to be happening.
No,
and I'm not running for governor. And
our water and our forest, those are the two things that need to get done.
Yeah.
But the problem is if they fix those two things, they have nothing to
say about.
Yeah. Well, no, say we have an emergency, California's on fire, and we can't put it out because we have no water.
So we need to raise interest rates.
We need to raise gas tax so I can use it for something else.
That one still kills me. The fact that there's still, I
know we're getting a little political.
Yeah, we are. Modesto passes Measure L to be able to take care of our roads, and they're doing it. They are getting to the roads, and they're doing some stuff.
And it's more county than city,
right?
Yeah.
But you have a gas tax, and we have some of the worst roads in California.
Because I don't think they're giving it to us. They're using it for something else. And that's why everybody was so against the H, some people, because of, they're like, well, all the other stuff didn't go for what it was supposed to go for. So you're going to put in the general fund.
Yep.
So this is Real Estate Jerky. We talk about, real estate finance and community. And it's so important because you buy the community that you live in and you want to be there. And I think it's so important.
And you want to see improvements. You want to see those tax dollars going to what they said they were going to go to.
Yeah.
You want to see nicer roads. You want to see the trees cleaned up. You want to see more police officers. You want to see more firefighters. You want to see all those things. So anyway.
Well, I'm worried about the spend on trees. All the leaves finally fell off the trees right in our area because of the good wind.
Yeah.
And I look at my tree, and one of them, it probably has 10 things of mistletoe in it.
Yeah.
Which I took those out 6 years ago myself because the city's not doing anything.
Right.
And now we're 6 years later, and now it's back because all the other trees in my neighborhood had it. And those birds, it's like a 4-year cycle that they do.
True.
We need them to come out and fix these trees, but they're past their lifespan. So what? They're still here living great.
Yeah.
Let's get this mistletoe out so they stay, because we don't want to put in now a tree that's 2 years old because I won't be around to see it get this big.
No. And the funny thing is, here's what's funny is I hired Grover to come out and take care of my trees. And then a week after they finished, the city crew was out, topping some trees and doing some things and taking out mistletoe. It was 3 years ago. I don't have any mistletoe back. That's so strange to me. I don't have any mistletoe back. And my ugly locust trees are actually starting to look a little bit better when they're leafed out. And they're doing a lot better.
Yeah, so we got to get that stuff out of there because it kills the tree.
Yeah.
Because the last time I had mine taken out, they were like, you're lucky you had about 5 more years before these trees were going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's some of these I look up and I'm like going, how are they still standing?
And dead trees make a huge mess when they fall down.
Oh, yeah, especially if they hit a house or a car.
Yep.
And they always fall. And worst time is when it's the hottest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
after a rain, after you soak them real good, so they got lots of water in their limbs, and then it gets hot and they go crack.
Well, because they suck up all that water for the leaves because it's so warm.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, something like that.
What? How?
I don't know. Anyway,
that was lightning. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me.
Mama dance. We'll have to get that song going.
There we go.
Again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching.
Always a
everybody.
pleasure.
We appreciate you. Again, we're going to be back. A lot of news this week. A lot of stuff going on. If you want us to talk about anything, let us know, and we'll cover it. One of the things I want to talk about this week.
This is from Mike McClanahan, just because I sang.
I know, because we both did. One of the things I want to talk about this week is business owners and what to know about your tax returns. If you're good with that, because I came across it the other day. Someone said, okay, I go, how much do you make? And they go, well, $1 million a year divided by 12. All right, let me see your tax returns. $2.50. Huh?
Right? All the time.
Because it's like it's not what your business brings in, it's what you pass over onto your personal tax return, plus your K1, plus your depreciation and other stuff that we can add back in. And I talk to people before you do your taxes, let's see what their numbers are, so to qualify, because we can tell you how to do it.
Yeah. And
then you can always adjust them later if you wanted to, but if you're going to write off a lot of stuff, try to do it under depreciation and stuff we can add back in.
Yeah.
And like buy a car and then like a truck and then depreciate all the first year, and then you can write that back in.
Can a business buy a personal property?
Yeah, technically under LL, if you're doing a business loan, but most people aren't. And we do bank statement loans, but in this market, bank statement loans are a little expensive.
I bet they are.
Yeah, I mean, they're always a little bit more than the regular conventional rates, but it can be done. And because I had an agent who's like, hey, can you help these people? They're self-employed, they're painters. Sure, no problem. I'm being told that I can get a stated income loan for 6 3/4. I'm like, what?
Yeah, how?
Yeah, exactly. I said, how many points?
Yeah,
and that's when the conventional loans are real, a little bit closer to 6. That doesn't make sense to do a stated income loan at that rate.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Even a private money is going to be closer to 8 to 9 these days.
Right.
But unless it's somebody personal, it's their own funds, and like, I'm not making any money in the bank, so yeah, I'll do this for you, and I'll do it at 6 or 6. Sometimes sellers will carry at the market rate because they can't get any money for their money if they put it in the bank.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
So it's a business decision.
Right. And I tell a lot of people, why not just carry if you own it? Because if they foreclose, if they don't do anything on it, then you can foreclose on them.
You got the house back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got making the 6% or whatever you have it at.
It's not going to be making that in the bank.
Because I asked one guy, what are you going to do with the money? Put it in the bank. I'm like, okay, so you're going to make 1 if you're lucky.
0.001.
Right. Well, some of those
money
internet ones
things,
you can get. Yeah. All right. We've been talking too long. Let's get out of here. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. And thanks, Mike, for always watching.
Yeah, Mike, and Daniel, and Robin.
I always try to get Mike to come on, and he hates it.
Mark Cardisano.
He hates to talk on this kind of stuff.
Mike loves to talk, but
not on air.
Not in person.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
We love you, Mike.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
And we'll see you guys back.
Enjoy this weather today.
Yeah, it's sunny.